Hello everyone, and let's get back to talking about where Shadow of Revan went wrong, where 3.0 went wrong. People don't like this series. A lot of people do agree, a lot of people disagree. A lot of people think Shadow of Revan was perfection, and it was beautiful, and it was everything. I think Shadow of Revan was a shadow of shit, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, we'll get to the main thing that everyone goes on about that was positive, and that is the story. Oh, the vaunted story. How dare you criticize the story. Now, we will warn you about this video. There is going to be some sacrilege committed, okay? We are going to commit that most dreadful of sins, which we will get to later. We are going to commit a dreadful sin, but we are going to talk about Shadow of Revan in the sense of the story, which I don't think was the best feature of Shadow of Revan. It struggled to get a best feature out of it, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I like Rishi. I thought Rishi was the highlight. That's my highlight of Shadow of Revan. Rishi was a cool world. It had some cool stuff going on it, and I liked that. That was my favourite part, but the story just fell flat. The main problem I had with the story is that it felt like it was not your story. It was very impersonal. It was like it was Lana and Theron's story, and you were just, you know, someone they brought along for the ride. You were just the lackey, basically. You were the workhorse of that. It was like, oh, Lana and Theron, blah, 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 doing all this. You know, Theron gets kidnapped heroically. Spoiler alert, should we say. And it's, oh, go rescue him. It's like, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing, Lana? Oh, I let Theron get kidnapped. Oh, we gotta do this. Oh, who's gonna go do the heavy lifting? Oh, you're gonna have to go do the heavy lifting. Oh, we need to find out information from this guy. Who's gonna do it? You are. And you just felt like the messenger. You're basically like, oh, Lana and Theron want this, Lana and Theron want that, blah, 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 blah. Then you got to Yavin, and it was just like a table with everyone just sitting around it. A command table, if you will. You know, compare it to Warlords of Draenor, where you were the commander, you know, and you're sending people out. You're sending the minions or followers. Let's call them minions, out to do your dirty work. You could argue it was flawed in that they got to be the epic heroes. They had a good time. They got to bring you raid gear while you just sat there and played a Facebook game, essentially. But, however, SWTOR is kind of the opposite. They were like standing behind the table, and you were the little lackey that went out and did all the stuff, did all the legwork. At least you get to keep the gear. They didn't get raid gear. And if, again, we look at the Revan solo fight, everyone's having a good time in that fight but me. But the player. As the player, I'm having not a good time. You know, Kira's enjoying herself. You know, Satil's enjoying it. Mar's having a great time. You know, Jakaro having fun. Shea Vizsla's having fun. What about the player? What about the player? That's the thing. The player is lying on the floor stunned, because her interrupt's on cooldown, and we're either getting choked or getting the twin saber throw, and then we're lying on the ground, waiting to get back up, watching a bunch of NPCs have a good time fighting a boss. You know, everyone seems to enjoy that, bar the player. You know, it's like, I'm the player here, I'm the one paying the subscription. You know, where's my good time? You know, the raid is a lot better than the solo mode. We have covered that in a previous video, where that boss is, we always come back to that Revan solo mode, because it is arguably one of the worst game bosses I've ever seen in a game. Like, it's one of the worst experiences. It's not hard. It's not bad because it's hard. It's not bad because it's broken. It was broken at launch, but it's just bad because you're irrelevant. Okay, as a player, I want to be kind of at the heart of everything. The designers do. I don't want to just be another cog in the wheel. And I know we're playing an MMO here, and we'll get onto that in Knights of the Fallen Empire when we talk about that, its story. But again, you kind of, you know, it's this personalized solo instance. Same with the solo mode flashpoints. It's like, the GSI droid's the hero. Okay, it should just play support. Essentially, it should just tank or heal. That's it. It shouldn't be doing massive damage. But again, you can just leave the GSI droid, go AFK, and come back and, oh, here, I've done everything for you, there's your loot. Essentially, you could argue in that sense it's like Warlords of Draenor, only you can sit and watch it. You don't have to go away and watch a Facebook game in that sense. So I just felt like the story, it just felt flat, to be honest. It did build to a decent ending, but it was ruined by that fight. That Revan fight just ruined it. Like, I didn't care after the fight. I was like, fuck this. spacebar through the final cutscene. And the final cutscene was a cool cutscene where, you know, your faction's leaving, and you know, you're talking about the future of the Republic and the Empire. And again, look at what happens at the end on the Empire. Spoilers. Lana Bonico, she becomes Minister of Intelligence. You just get, oh, well done. Here's a promotion for Lana. So what the fuck, I'd be fucking here doing fucking everything on Yavin. Fucking set up communications, killed some fucking, you know, Revanite, what were they called? The dudes, the lieutenants, killed all of them. Everything, even fought Revan. Okay, I lay on the floor for most of the fight, but, you know, I did most of the legwork, and Lana gets a fucking Minister of Intelligence job. What the fuck's my job? Exactly. That's why, that was my response. I picked that response, like, fuck that. No. I'm the Empire, Emperor's Wrath, should we say. That's another bone of contention with the story in SWTOR that I don't like, is that they do the sort of chosen one thing, which I don't like in an MMO. It just doesn't work. It works fine in a single player RPG, but in an MMO, it's terrible. Oh, you're the Empire, you're the Emperor's Wrath, and then you leave the instance and there's 50 Emperor's Wraths standing outside the instance. It's like, oh, there you go. Hey, Emperor's Wrath, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, Emperor's Wrath, how are you? Oh, good, Emperor's Wrath, how are you? And it's like, hey, I'm the Emperor's Wrath. Oh, I'm the Emperor's Wrath too. How many Wraths does he have? You know, how many does he have, really? You know, it's the same with every other class. It's just a cliche. I like the Secret World, actually. There's a good line in the Secret World where, I think it's in the Illuminati, where they tell you, look, you're not the chosen one, okay? You're part of an army. Okay, and that's true. It's true of every MMO. I love that line in the Secret World. It kind of sums up why I don't really like MMO storytelling, to be honest. And Knights of the Fallen Empire, of course, we're the Outlander. Hey, Outlander, how's it going, Outlander? Oh, fine, Outlander. How are you, Outlander? Oh, are you the Outlander? Oh, I'm the Outlander as well. Oh, we're all Outlanders. Jesus, everybody's the fucking Outlander here. I don't think it's going to work, personally, because it's like having everybody as the Outlander just doesn't make any sense. Especially as a raid team. I mean, think of an MMO, as a raider, I think of a raid team as just a strike team. Everyone's playing their role, and, you know, everyone needs to come together to defeat the boss, okay? Everyone has a role to play. You've got your tanks who are, you know, keeping the big nasty hits away from everybody else. You got your DPS who are killing the thing, and you got your healers who are making sure that the others don't die, essentially. And again, everyone has to play their role. It's about teamwork and cooperation. Single player is more about that personal glory, I guess, and that's one of the reasons to play an MMO, and I just think that it kind of, you know, if everyone's a Outlander, everyone's a special snowflake, then it kind of diminishes. It is quite diminished if everybody's the Outlander. Then the Outlander doesn't really mean anything. That's my point, really, that we're trying to make, is what's the point in being the Outlander if everyone else is the Outlander? Every other warrior you meet is the Emperor's Wrath. You know, every other, you know, Inquisitor you meet's on the Dark Council. You know, how many Dark Council members are there? Jeez, there must be fucking hundreds of them, millions of them, really. Because every Sith Inquisitor gets on the Dark Council. These are story spoilers. I'm going to put a warning at the beginning of the video for story spoilers, in case people say, oh, what? You become Dark Council member? Yeah. There you go. So it's like, you know, I mean, Smuggler kind of makes sense. The only one that really does make sense is the Smuggler. And maybe the Agent one, kind of, because maybe you'll be like an agent and you wouldn't be aware of other agents, maybe. So it makes sense in that perspective. From that perspective, as a Republic privateer, you know, it makes sense the Republic would have many privateers, I'd imagine, and many smugglers. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense, at least, the Smuggler one. And, you know, the Agent one, you know, you could have different agents with different cells and things like that. Imperial Intelligence. Intelligence is a thing that you don't, you know, some cells aren't aware of other cells and things like that when you do intelligence and espionage and things like that. But I guess, you know, the Bounty Hunter is kind of interesting again, because you're like the most wanted in the Republic. I guess, although there can only really be one Chancellor that you can off, I guess. So again, now we're going to compare, we're going to commit some sacrilege, and we're going to compare at least the beginning part of Shadow of Revan to the beginning of Warlords of Draenor. Because for me, there was a huge contrast. Now, people criticize World of Warcraft for having, you know, not an emphasis on story, for having a pretty poor story, and I thought the opening, the Tanaan Jungle invasion opening of Warlords of Draenor was awesome. I thought it was awesome. It was like a Call of Duty level in an MMO, essentially. That's what it was like. I thought it was very good. It was perfect. It set everything up perfectly. You know, you met all of the big players. You met people like Gul'dan, Kilrog Deadeye, you know, Kargath, Blackhand, etc. You met all of them, and then you went off after you did your escape from Tanaan. You destroyed a dark portal, and then you made your escape, and then you went to your factions place, Shadowmoon Valley, if you were Alliance, Frostfire Ridge, if you were Horde, and you built your garrison. And I thought that was a very, very good opening. You should try that opening. The Tanaan Jungle opening is very, very good in Warlords of Draenor. SWTOR, by comparison, what was that? Basically, go do some flashpoints again in solo mode. That was it, because I hadn't done any of those tactical flashpoints when they launched as my main character, because my main was a raider, and why would a raider want to do tactical flashpoints was the question that I asked. So I did them on my alts, and of course it was like, hey, go do that. You could skip them, but then you're missing out on a bunch of basic comms and a lot of XP as well. So I just thought I kind of fell flat. That was your first impression of Shadow Revan. Oh, I got to do the content that's been available for a few months before we get to the new stuff. You didn't have to do it, but at the time it was like, I guess I better do this and get my 162 green gear, I guess. But, you know, not a big fan of it. When you get to Rishi, it picks up, but by that time it was like a couple of hours. It was like an hour and a half in, and I was kind of pissed off at that. You know, it gets good. You know, you arrive on Rishi as, you know, as a notorious pirate because they spread rumors about you. You're a cannibal. Thought that was funny as a Jedi Knight. It's like, what? I'm a cannibal? I'm gonna eat people? Alright, fuck it. Let's go for it. That scoundrel is like, yeah, fuck it. You know, I'm a cannibal. I'll fucking eat you. She'll eat you. Kick you in the nuts and eat you. You know, she'll do it. You know, a scoundrel don't give a fuck. She's not kneeling. That's one of the things. Scoundrel kneels to nobody. We kneel to nobody. We are not kneeling before that Emperor dude, okay? We're not kneeling before him, okay? That is never gonna happen. Maybe my bounty hunter, if he pays me, you know, if he pays the money, then I'll kneel before him, maybe. You know, pay me, I'll kneel. But no chance. No chance. No chance in hell for our scoundrel is gonna do that. I know it is an option gonna be, because it was in the trailer, I guess. Apparently you can. Apparently, I don't know. I think it's, don't know if it's been confirmed or not that you can kneel before the new Emperor. Whether it means you'll be able to change factions or anything like that, I don't know. I guess it'll just be a cosmetic thing. You probably get a title, you know, kneeler to the Emperor or something. I don't know. Kneel before Zod, he'll shout, and then it's like, oh, okay, you know. But then again, so there you go. We committed a bit of sacrilege. I thought World of Warcraft. I mean, what the story of Warlords, it has peaks and kind of troughs, the story, throughout Warlords of Draenor. At least Shadow Revan is a bit more consistent with its story, because it falls into the regular World of Warcraft trap of just having so many quests that don't really mean anything as part of the story, and you get the odd quest that advances the story. So I think overall, probably Shadow Revan was probably better. It was more cohesive as a story, but the opening in Tanaan Jungle was way better. Was way better, I thought, than the opening of Shadow Revan. It just made a better impression. It was awesome. It's like, you know, you go here, you destroy this, you blow up the dark portal, you take control of a big tank, shoot things, you then have to escape. It is just Call of Duty. It's a Call of Duty level in an MMO, is the best way to describe it, really. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. And my thoughts on Knights of the Fallen Empire is they are putting all their eggs in one basket with the story. That's why we want raid content, we want PvP content. I want the content to be balanced. People think, oh, you don't want any story content, or oh, you hate story. Fine, I like good story. You know, I like good story. I like KOTOR. KOTOR's a great story. KOTOR 2 I thought was better, story-wise. I thought the Sith Lords was better. Had a better kind of backstory. I like the characters, I think, much better than the story. Overall was pretty good. I thought the Sith Lord characters were pretty weak, to be honest. I thought Nihilus could have been better. Scion is pretty cool, and of course you've got Darth Treya as well, who's awesome in that game. But I like the kind of the lore that it delved into in the kind of Star Wars lore, especially between the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and their relationship to the Force, was really, really good. I thought it did a much better job than Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic 1, I thought, probably had a better, sort of grander tale to tell, but KOTOR 2 was a bit more intimate, I thought, was the best way to describe it. So I like good storytelling. I do like games with good stories. Hut Cartel was shit, story-wise. It was pretty shit. The Empire opened well. I thought the Empire opening, where you had to sneak onto McKeb, was pretty cool the first time you did it. The second, it got really annoying the times you did it on the alts. So I think that's the problem with story content in general, is hopefully they get it right. That's the thing, is it's a lot of pressure on the story team to get it right, because you've got no new raids, you've got no new flashpoints, you've got no new war zones or no new arenas or no new starfighter maps to, you know, you put all your eggs in one basket, and there's no new features as well, like Pazak or swoop racing or anything like that to come along and say, hey, the story might be shit, but we can do swoop racing at least, or Pazak or something like that. Yeah, I think that all the eggs are going in one basket, and it's bad for any design just to be solely focused, because if you get that wrong, if you get the Knights of the Fallen Empire, if the story is bad, you're fucked. Essentially, you're fucked. Really, because you need balanced content. I want content. I don't just want them to make raid content. I want them to do story, raid, PvP, PvE. Even if they had to delay the expansion, you know, even delay it into next year, I'd have been quite happy if they just gave us, say, look, we're doing this bigger expansion. We're gonna delay it, rather than have like a couple of months where there's gonna be very little new content. Like, we're gonna be at level 65. How quickly we finish the 9 chapters and how quickly they get chapter 10 out is going to be the determining factor. And whether those 9 chapters are worth replaying again, it's a lot of pressure on them. They've got to get it right. They've got to get it right in Knights of the Fallen Empire, I think. At least if you had decent raid content, like Rise of the Hut Cartel had decent raid content. Scum and Villainy was a cool raid. TFB was just rehashed, but Scum and Villainy was kind of cool. At least you had that. And then a few months later, we got CZ198, which was quite a interesting daily area with a couple of good flashpoints. And then you got Oricon, which was kind of shit as a daily area, but had, you know, 2 decent raids, I guess. So they put a lot of pressure, and Ziost was kind of pointless in the end, really. If you thought about it, really just a pointless kind of filler story. That's what Ziost was. It was just filler in between now and the expansion. It was too short to really be meaningful. Replayability just wasn't there. I thought playing through it as the Emperor's Wrath, playing through it as a Sith Warrior, or playing through it as a Jedi Knight would have yielded some interesting story results, but didn't really change anything, because of course, Jedi Knight, you're the one who killed Vitiate, or killed one of the forms of Vitiate, shall we say, and you know, you're the Emperor's Wrath as a Sith Warrior. So I thought it would have more of an impact, you know, or maybe you could even join him, you know, as a warrior, or he'd even offer you something like that. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed in Ziost, but there you go. That's my thoughts on the story. I thought overall it was decent, but I think that hopefully they get it right. They've got to get it right, really. You got to think, come on, BioWare, don't get this wrong. Don't be another Shadow of Revan expansion. Please don't. So anyway, that's going to be all for where Shadow of Revan went wrong. I was thinking doing one on class balance. We might actually do one on class balance, actually, because we're going to do one on disciplines, because I think that's where Shadow of Revan went right. So we'll do that next time. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.